Very good day, students. Today we will discuss another topic from our series of photosynthesis. So all of you must know that today we will discuss about the cyclic photophosphorylation. Earlier in the just previous class we have discussed about the non-cyclic part, which was the major pathway, and now we will discuss about the not so major pathway yet, which is very much active process in producing ATP, that is cyclic photophosphorylation. Now why does the name come cyclic photophosphorylation? So the term cyclic, from that you can understand that the electrons which are filled in this process are cycling through a particular process and are returned back to the original source. This is the simple meaning of cyclic or cycle. Then we have photophosphorylation term. Photo, as genuinely you all know, photo means in the presence of light the reaction will occur, and phosphorylation means addition of oxygen. So prior to this only I told you that in this process there is more amount of ATP production, and ATP production is only termed as like phosphate addition, and ATP production is only termed as phosphorylation. So the whole process is termed as cyclic photophosphorylation. Now I will tell you a bookish definition just in one line. The formation of ATP due to light induced cyclic electron flow is known as cyclic photophosphorylation. I repeat, the formation of ATP due to light induced cyclic electron flow is known as cyclic photophosphorylation. You can note it down, okay? Now these are certain features of the cyclic electron flow which I'll read it out for you. So in certain situations, photoexcited electrons follow the cyclic path which involves only the PS1. This happens especially for stroma lamellae. In stroma lamellae, the maximum amount of chlorophyll complexes which are present are of PS1. So PS2 is not present there in maximal amount. So these sections follow the cyclic electron flow. Okay. The photoexcited electrons move from P700 through the cytochrome B6F complex back to P700. So they follow that particular channeling and cycling where they move through a series of molecules. I will discuss it in next slides. And further they are channeled back to their original source chlorophyll complex which is present, which is P700. In plants, when the concentration of NADPH is sufficient but there is huge demand of ATP in chloroplast, the cyclic flow of electron is activated. So, in the non-cyclic process, what was happening? There was photolysis of water yielding oxygen. There was NADP plus a reduction to NADPH. So there was NADPH production also, and additional to that there was ATP production. But in certain situations where there is sufficient NADPH, but we need more and more of ATP which cannot be given by the non-cyclic process. So in that case, this channel is activated to meet the huge demand of ATP in the chloroplast. There is no NADPH and oxygen production associated with this process. Okay, so there is no NADPH or oxygen production associated. So this, from this statement only we can derive that fact that non-cyclic process is the major process, because the overall process what we are focusing is photosynthesis, which leads to yield of oxygen, their own carbon sugar synthesis. These are the primary things of photosynthesis, the primary end products. So in cyclic photophosphorylation, if we are not getting oxygen only, then what will be, then if this would be have been the major pathway, then there would have been very less oxygen production for cells. So this is not the major pathway, though there is surplus ATP production benefit in this pathway, but the major pathway is the non-cyclic one. And how many approximate molecules are produced? Let's see. Approximately 8 protons are released into the lumen by the cytochrome complex, which approximately yields 3 molecules of ATP, like roughly 2.5 protons acting, like in a rough calculation, not practical, theoretical calculation, 2.5 molecules or protons responsible for production of 1 ATP. So 8 protons are involved in the formation of 3 molecules of ATP roughly. Okay. Now this is the cyclic channelic flow of electrons during the cyclic process. Let us discuss this figure. You can draw it down in your copy. So the photoexcited electrons move from the PS1 through the ferredoxine to P700 again via the cytochrome B6 complex and the plastocyanins. This electron flow generates a certain electrochemical proton gradient and thus ATP formation occurs but no production of NADPH. So what happens? Now PS1 or P700 is our reaction center. Now when sunlight falls on it, all pigments are going to absorb the photons, as I have mentioned here, H nu. All the pigments are going to absorb the photons at the corresponding wavelength, which is P700. Now at that particular wavelength, there is a continuous absorption of photon. Now at certain point it would be saturated, or rather more acceptance of photon will lead to its increase in energy, which will what effect it will bring? It will lead to release of electrons. So a pair of electrons gets excited when sufficient photons are absorbed and high energy is obtained. So see, there is an energy transition in the particular photosystem where a pair of electron is transmitted from ground energy state to higher energy state, which I have shown as P700 to P700 star. Okay, and then our primary electron acceptor, which is A0, accepts the molecule. Now what is A0? I have told you while teaching non-cyclic process also. A0 is our modified chlorophyll pigment which acts as the primary electron acceptor. It is a component of P700 only. Okay, and then it passes through the A1 and then through the iron sulfur centers, then through ferredoxine, then through cytochrome B6F, then through plastocyanins and back to P700. Now there is ATP production in two steps. So what happens, that when electron will move down their electrochemical gradient. So at piece A0 the electrons are having very high energy. Now they need to lose energy and come back to their ground state. So they have to release energy at certain steps while moving down the electrochemical gradient. So when will they lose energy? Let's see, where will they lose energy? So while moving from the plastoquinones to the ferredoxine, from A1 to FD, there is a release of energy which leads to the formation of ATP, where ADP and inorganic phosphates combine to form ATP. So there is one portion where there is release of ATP. Now we have second portion where there is release of more ATPs, that is near cytochrome B6F complex. There also there is production of ATP where ADP and inorganic phosphates combine and form ATPs. Okay, so in two places we see there is production of ATP from combining ADP and inorganic phosphates, where electrons lose their maximal energy and return to the ground state. So this is the overall process of photosynthesis. This occurs at around 15 to 20% in a particular plant. So note one thing that in non-cyclic process was occurring in thylakoids, since photosystem 1 and 2 both were present, but in stroma lamellae PS1 is only present, as I told you, in huge fractions. So it is not possible that PS2 will be associated and particular photolysis will also be associated. So we have the cyclic process which is devoid of photolysis of water and any reducing power like NADPH, etc. So what we derive the important points from cyclic production, cyclic photosynthesis, the important points are only PS1 is involved. What are the important features? Only PS1 is involved, no photolysis of water, only ATP is synthesized and no reducing power. So these were the abbreviations I have also mentioned in previous slide, and likewise in this slide also, take a note. Now this is the basic comparison between the non-cyclic electron flow and cyclic electron flow, which will help you to recollect the memories of whatever we have read in previous slide also. Okay, so let's read out the features. So it is very evident, as I am discussing from my first slide only, that in non-cyclic process both PS1 and PS2 are involved, while in cyclic only PS1. Photolysis of water is important in non-cyclic process. In cyclic process, no photolysis occurs. Formation of oxygen is important in case of non-cyclic process, which is a byproduct of photolysis. Here no oxygen formation. ATP synthesis occurs. Here also ATP synthesis occurs. The only difference which I forgot to mention is ATP production is more in cyclic electron flow. While I teach you the chemiosmotic hypothesis now of ATP synthesis in our next class, that time I will tell you the difference in number of ATP production. And then there is NADPH synthesis occurring over here, while there is no NADPH synthesis in the cyclic electron flow. So this was just a small topic, the cyclic electron flow from photosynthesis. With this I complete the light reaction. Now I will teach you about the ATP synthesis, and then followed by the Calvin cycle or the C3 cycle, which will be discussed in next slides. Till then, take care. Subscribe to our channel if you like the content. Stay safe, stay at home, and study well. Thank you.